this team is special, and the season is not over. I want everyone out there to just to take a deep breath. I know it's kind of crazy right now, but just take a deep breath. We've got time. We have 3 weeks now to get it going, to turn it around, to give ourselves the best chance to reach our ultimate goal, which is winning a Super Bowl. If we were starting the postseason tomorrow, maybe there'd be a little bit more panic on our part.
All right, that's interesting. So, Dominique, let me come to you here. We sometimes play a game called Panic or Patience. So if I were to put the question to you basically that way with Pittsburgh, hearing what Ben just said, which way would you go?
Yeah, I know they're not much for panic at their franchise, but I'd be panicking if Super Bowl was their aspiration. So at one point, they had an explosive offense with explosive receivers, and now their issue is chronic drops. And as they get ready for the next episode, which is the playoffs, things just ain't the same for these gangsters. It feels like they are not in the same position that they once were in. So they got lucky early in the season, or not lucky, but they were fortunate to have a pretty easy schedule, one of the easiest in the league, and now they're leading into the tough part of their schedule, and they're losing players. So I don't feel as confident as I did at one point for them challenging the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Well, you will have them on Monday night, Lewis, so I'm sure you have been looking at the tape already this week. What does it show you? What are you seeing in the Steelers in their losing streak?
Yeah, what they need to be able to do is possess the ball longer, and they need to kind of put some drives together because they're going 3 and out and or turning the ball over at a really alarming clip right now, particularly over the past 2 weeks. That's just something that shows up over and over. And what that's going to do, that's putting so much mileage on their defense, and a defense that's going to wind up getting just tired as the season goes on because Pittsburgh can't possess the ball. One of the reasons that Dominique just alluded to, that they can't possess the ball, given that they throw it so much, is because people keep dropping it. And so those are the kind of things that, look, I know Ben is saying take a deep breath and let's just see how things play out here as they continue to work through some of their kinks and head on into the playoffs. They should be able to get going this week against a Cincinnati Bengal defense that is a little bit beat up. And, I mean, they're playing their hearts out, but they're just undermanned right now. But they need to put together a good performance starting this Monday night heading on into the playoffs. Otherwise, that panic meter is just going to keep swinging way, way, way in the wrong direction because it doesn't the past 2 weeks.
Lewis, let me ask you this. The drops have been one problem. Another has been they've just abandoned the running game. It's not that they aren't running it well. Yeah. It doesn't even feel like they're trying. Can they do that? Can they get away with that and win playoff games?
No, I think obviously you have to be balanced, especially when you're considering that you're going to be dealing with, more than likely, you're at some point in time, if you want to get to the Super Bowl, which is always their aspiration, you're going to have to deal with Kansas City. And when you deal with Kansas City, that means possessing the football. Possessing the football means either throwing it with a high level of efficiency, which means don't drop it, and they haven't proved they can't do that, or run the football, hopefully get 3.5, 4 yards per carry, and keep Patrick sitting over there on the sideline. Otherwise, you have no shot. So There's no question, Greeny, they need to commit to running it. But for coordinators to commit to running it, most times, they need to be successful doing it. So we'll see what happens.
Shefty, quickly, let me come to you. One of the factors, another one, has been just they've been decimated by injury. What is your sense in Pittsburgh right now?
Listen, the offensive line has struggled. As Lewis said, the running game has yet to get on track. The defense is missing Devin Bush, Bud Dupree. Even Robert Spillane, the man that stepped in to fill in, was out last week. Joe Hayden was out with concussion, missing a lot of key players on the defense side of the football at a time when the offense is struggling to run the football. A team that looked a month ago about as tough as any in all of the NFL suddenly has some holes and is leaking oil as we get towards the end of the season. Not an ideal scenario for Pittsburgh, but a get-right spot for Monday night in front of Louis Riddick.
That's exactly right, and I will also, a little later in this program, tell you why the definitive answer to this is patience, and I will tell you why.
That comes the expectation that you're going to have a QBR better than 5. Get that, hold on. I'm not even listening. I anticipate this getting ugly.
This is our new feature. It is called The Chronicles of Riddick. Yes, that looks like it would be an outstanding movie poster, and frankly, if this became a movie, I'd go see it. But one way or another, Lewis, we're going to run through a couple of interesting things with you here this morning as we look forward to the NFL weekend, and we start with something you are watching for this weekend. What do you have your eye on?
Yeah, I think, first and foremost, you got to look at this matchup between Washington and Seattle, and Washington's pass rush and their defense overall against Russell Wilson. Look, this is the number one pass rushing team in the NFL over the past 10 weeks. The great Hembo gave me that stat this morning, and you can see it. Look, they're a top 5 team in terms of yards per play allowed, sacks per pass attempt. They're number 6 in points allowed. And these guys, headlined by Chase Young, look, they're coming to get you, man. They're coming to get you. I want to see if Russell has an answer for this defense because they are driving the bus in Washington for that late season resurgence that they're having.
How about the next one? How about Chiefs and Saints?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if the Chiefs' defense is going to rebound after having them almost giving up almost 250 yards rushing and almost 7 yards per attempt on the ground. Now, I know the Chiefs are not known for necessarily running the football in terms of being a volume rushing team, but this is a defense that I thought would play much better last week. Look, I got to give props to Jalen Hurts and this offense of the Philadelphia Eagles. They surprised the heck out of me. I thought it was going to get ugly. I'm sure the Saints defense is embarrassed. This is a heavyweight matchup. This is what I thought was going to be the Super Bowl matchup, so maybe we're getting a Super Bowl preview.
And then you might have had the best game of the season Monday night, Ravens-Browns. How did you come out of it thinking about Baker and Cleveland?
Look, my respect for Baker Mayfield and the job Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, the GM, are doing up there in Cleveland have gone up a couple notches on the ladder. Look, Baker Mayfield did everything he needed to do in that football game. Kevin Stefanski and him are working in unison perfectly as far as understanding how Baker operates the best. Berry, the GM, has put together a fine football team. They still need some more reinforcements, but I'll tell you this. In a one-off tournament, a single elimination tournament like the playoffs are in the NFL, they could beat anyone.
Well, it has been a very long time since they've been in the playoffs. How long, you ask? Well, I'm glad that you did. The last time the Cleveland Browns won a playoff game, January 1st, 1995, Louis Riddick made an interception.
Man.
How about that?
Look at
Louis
that guy.
with the pick. Tell us about the play.
Look at that guy. Hey, I'll tell you what, it was a cover 3 call. I remember Eric Turner, the safety right there, said, look, just hang in the middle. Drew's going to throw you on. He's going to try and get the ball to legendary Ben Winter Coates, one of the all-pro tight ends in the league at that time. All I did was sit there. I just remember seeing the ball coming and going, please don't drop this ball. Please don't drop it. That's all I was thinking. Then I was thinking, get your behind out of bounds before somebody lights you up. And then headed straight to the sideline.
Hell of a play, Lou.
So it does raise one question, because Louis is not the only defensive back we have on the show today. Who made the greater interception? I'm not talking about Neek. I'm talking about Shefty. Who made the greater pick, Louis or Adam Schefter? Adam Schefter picking off Tom Brady. How about it, Shefty? Take us through the play. What were you thinking?
Well, Greeny, I read his eyes from the moment he dropped back. I could see where he was going. He telegraphed his intentions. That's the mistake that a lot of quarterbacks make, and I was quick to capitalize on Tom Brady's mistake. Now, what I will say is that in the same game or in a game another year, I caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady as well. So I believe, and we'd have to have Hembo check this, that I am the only player in NFL history to catch a touchdown and intercept Tom Brady all at once.
Vrabel.
Not many can make that claim. I can.
Did
I
Mike
love
Vrabel
it.
do it?
So Dominique, well, I'm not sure if he did or not, but let's not bury the lead here. Whose pick, because you were a corner, whose pick do you think was the more impressive play there? Lewis intercepting one Patriot legend, Drew Bledsoe, or Shefty intercepting another in Tom Brady?
Well, I mean, Shefty's was obviously more athletic, but Lou's had more consequence. It was in a playoff game, so I got to go with Lou. Lou's interception was better. Joe Shefty showed a great burst getting out of the end zone there.
It is 25 years ago, the last time the Browns won a playoff game. It's been 25 years. We'll see if they are able to do it.
Greedy, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
For all the folks who keep just absolutely getting on me about the size of my shoulder pads, man, okay, that's just what we wore then, okay? I just want somebody to get off my back and call the great Ronnie Lott, okay? Does everybody remember the shoulder pads Ronnie Lott and Kenny Easley used to wear? You wouldn't
Yes, of
say that
course.
to that when Ronnie Lott was knocking your teeth out. I bet you that. That's what we wore back then, man. It's just it was the technology.
It's actually a perfect illustration of how long it's been since the Browns have won a playoff game, candidly, because no one has
Yeah,
seen
that
shoulder
too.
pads